The Oncoming Storm, Chapter 1, Flying High. The parade ground was full of ponies. Canterlot was a beautiful city, with high towers just touching the clouds overhead. But the locals were a bit snobbish. White unicorns were the officers in the Royal Guard, the white Pegasi were NCOs, and the grey unicorns and earth ponies the enlisted. I got my call-in at Parchment to join the Solar Empire Air Force, as did Dashi. I should have been called up months ago, but I was under reserved occupation, meaning my job was too important for me to leave. Some ponies got to keep the wind in Equestria under control. I was a big shot in the weather factory. I worked my way up to be one of the board members and was going to be to the new director when Airhead retired. But duty calls. The Empire has been conquering lands all over the world for the last year or so. Hunger had spread throughout Equestria, and we were desperate. Other nations didn't have our problem, but refused to help us, so Celestia had no choice but to take what we needed to survive from other nations by force. I loved flying in the Air Force. Dashi and I had our first experience of combat in Stable Valley, in the kingdom of Limaire. Their kingdom would not share with us their vast stockpiles of food during the Depression. Greedy buckers. I was proud to fly alongside Dashi, fighting for the starving ponies back home. My flying skills, along with Dashi's, both in and out of the Air Force, did not go unnoticed. Wherever I went, so did Dashi. It was just like old times in flight school, and in Junior Speedsters flight camp. We were both offered a place in the Royal Guards of Canterlot, but only if we passed a selection process. There were 2 Royal Guard squadrons, one for the common ponies like myself and Dashi, and the others were for the Sons of Celestia, as they were known. They were fanatical soldiers, with the task of protecting Celestia wherever she went. They weren't your ordinary ponies. They were made by Celestia's magic. Hey, whoa! What? I tried to keep my voice down. Just like old times. Yeah, you and I stick together. We'll be in the Royal Guard in no time. Too damn right. The old times like a lifetime ago. After me and Dash graduated from flight school at the top of our class, we both applied to work in Cloudsdale Weather Factory. Being both great flyers, we were given great jobs. Dashi was in charge of the weather patrol for Ponyville, and I was in charge of the production of the wind in Equestria. Dashi moved to Ponyville, where she made her own house out of cloud. It was easier for her to stay near Earth, so as to keep an eye on the low cloud that would always cause trouble. I, on the other hoof, had an office in the factory, and I couldn't leave. The wind was manufactured in the factory. I offered to not work on the turbines, but deal with paperwork instead. Dashi made a few friends in Ponyville, as well as a good name for herself. She became one of the protectors of Equestria after defeating Nightmare Moon and Discord with the Elements of Harmony. We would remain in contact, but it was a long time between calls. Work always got in my way. I'll never forget graduation day. The parade ground was full of spectators, and high-ranking officials of the Empire lined it with booths. I, Dashi, and another 3 ponies that passed the course were in the centre of the group on the top of a large golden and marble podium. We were told to wave at the crowd because it looks good for propaganda. Dashi was flying overhead, showing off her fancy flying moves. The horns of the Royal Guards came into life, signalling the arrival of Princess Celestia and our entourage. This was my first time ever of seeing the princess up close. I was nervous, but proud to be here. Celestia approached the podium with a few guards and her aides. One of the aides was carrying a wooden box with the Imperial seal on the lid. It opened to reveal 5 golden medals, each with our respective cutie marks on them. My tornado-shaped cutie mark looked awesome in gold, instead of the usual grey. Celestia used her magic to place the medals over the head of each of us individually. I was 4th in line. She placed the medal over my head and smiled, whilst I just kept my military discipline. Celestia paused at Dash and said something to her. The sound of the fanfare and the roar of the crowd muffled what she said. If only I could lip read, I thought. When she was done, Dashi bowed to the princess, and Celestia's horn glowed, and a stand came out of the floor with microphones lining the top of it. She cleared her throat and proceeded to speak. Citizens of Equestria, 5 ponies have answered their call to serve their country in its hour of need. You should all look at these ponies with pride. They are the best of the best. You should all challenge yourselves to be like them. A roar erupted from the crowd, and Celestia turned to face us. We saluted, and she flew back to her royal box with her guards and aides. At the back of the royal box I could see a figure. It had to be Princess Luna. She hardly ever shows her face in public. She is always in Canterlot Castle doing... Actually, no pony knows what she does anymore. The unofficial after-graduation party was nuts. Let's just say there was more rainbow juice on the drinks menu. We were given the Canterlot ballroom to all to ourselves, with free drink and food. Usually I'm not fond of pies, but I felt like I deserved this. We were all allowed to bring a friend to the celebrations. Boxer brought his girlfriend. Jackhammer and Poppy brought a friend. Dashie was allowed to bring all of her friends from Ponyville. I decided not to invite my sister, not because she's a busy pony, but because Rainbow might have hit the ceiling with joy. Come on, every pony, let's dance, said the little pink pony, bursting with excitement. Without warning, I was pushed into a conga line. We looked like a badly drawn rainbow, orange, purple, white, yellow, blue, green and pink. I looked over to Boxer, Jackhammer and Poppy, and mouthed the words, "Help me," and they just laughed at me. It was well past 2 in the morning and I was ready to hit the hay, as were the other ponies, except for the pink one, who was still dancing to very loud music. I needed to get some air, and with the drink going to my head I stumbled out to the balcony. The view was breathtaking. The light from the moon hit the mountains behind Canterlot. It looked beautiful. It took me back to the days when I was a young colt, staying up for as long as I could so I could see my dad get home from work. I would always look out of my bedroom window, fall asleep and wake up the next morning in my bed. Needed a break from dancing, Will? Asked Dash, who had her 4 legs folded on the balcony edge. Yep, that pink one can dance. Dash chuckled and continued looking towards the moonlit valley. I made my way over to her and stood beside her. There was a long pause as we looked into the scenery. To break the silence, I tried to start a conversation. Hey, what did the princess say to you when you got your medal? Congratulations. Dash hesitated. No, she didn't. Come on, Dashie, you can tell me. Fine. She looked at me. Our first operation is coming up in the next few days. Oh? Where? I asked. Don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, though. Oh, well, I see. I'm off to bed anyway. I'll see you tomorrow. As I took off into the night sky, my mind was contemplating what could be in the operation briefing tomorrow. I hoped it was going to be something easy. The way I was flying right now after a few glasses of Apple Jack Daniels was not a confidence booster.